Today is Hear Us, O Lord. We lift our prayer to you, Lord. We raise Israel and Gaza to you and pray for those suffering. We ask that you provide peace in this crisis and protection and comfort for all those who have been impacted. Amen.
A supplemental or financials that was approved on October 4th. I approved the supplemental on the treasurer delinquent tax fee fund salaries account so that the auditor could finish processing payroll.
All right, I need a motion for minutes, September 19th and the 12th.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWitt?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Good morning, Adrian.
Good morning.
Okay, today's financials include a supplemental in the building department in their equipment line item for the purchase of a replacement vehicle. And this was the one where they have the older vehicle that we're then going to work out getting that to the airport authority. There's also a supplemental in the Commissioner's Capital Reserve Fund Phase 2 in the land purchases expense line, and a supplemental in the Commissioner's travel account, as well as the Sheriff's equipment expense lines for additional items approved during the Sheriff's budget hearing, including the body cameras, flock cameras, mats, floor scrubber, and network routers for the cruisers. There's a cash transfer from the General Fund to Public Assistance for our October through December 2023 mandated share, and travel requests from the Auditor's Office to attend the County Auditors Association of Ohio Winter Conference, and a request from the Recorder's Office to attend the Ohio Recorders Association Winter Conference. Among the vouchers are $35,436 from ADP to Pharos Systems International Incorporated for cloud print management software, $31,165.89 for maintenance to Integrated Precision Systems Incorporated for the Safety Center camera upgrade and maintenance project. And that's just the first pay request of the project, so the overall project is a lot more than that. But and $56,565.12 from the Sheriff's Office to Upstate Wholesale Supply Incorporated for 8 in-car and body-worn cameras paid for by the Law Enforcement Block Grant.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWitt?
Yes.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Adrian. Good morning. How are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Andy Nagel. I'm the Communications Rep at the Perry Nuclear Power Plant owned by Energy Harbor. So we're just here to kind of provide an update on the Vistra integration with Energy Harbor, as well as the nuclear plant's license renewal status. So for the integration, we need to get through 4 different government agencies. We've received 2 approvals so far. As of September 29th, the NRC, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, approved the transfer of the 4 licenses to Vistra. We've already been approved by the FCC, which was just the radios. We're waiting for the approval from the Department of Justice, along with the Federal Energy Regulation Commission, the FERC. So Vistra has requested mid-October for those, so we're just kind of waiting here to ensure that we can get the 4th quarter of 2023 integration transition. And then for the license renewal, so Perry's license will expire at midnight on November 7th, 2026. So we are in the process of extending the license for 20 more years to take us to 2046. So the application has been submitted, and they have they did the acceptance review, so they looked through it, and as of the 25th, September 25th, they accepted the application and will now start going through the 20,000 page application.
Wow.
Yeah, so the public comments, there'll be opportunities for some public comments virtually as well as in person that will start taking place this fall. Thank you, guys. Any questions we can help you with?
I'm good.
Wonderful.
The drills, are they going to still continue the same as normal?
Yes.
We were just talking to our emergency service director, if that will continue in the same manner it always has, if they're going to change that in any way, or?
No, there should be no change.
No
to the
changes.
drills,
Okay.
because those are regulated.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Appreciate it. Department of Development.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Thanks for being here, Linda.
So, let's see, item number 6, the Department of Development, Community and Economic is requesting the board acknowledge a notice of intent submitted by the County Administrator, Jerry Morgan, to the Ohio Department of Development designating Community and Economic Development as the lead entity for the demolition and site revitalization and brownfield remediation programs, and further approve moving forward with the application process for grant funding as specific program guidelines have not been disclosed at this time. That was a lot. So we did start the process of really learning and kind of engaging with the state and some consultants in the area about what's happening with the funding and the different grant opportunities with brownfield specifically. So Jerry did have to provide a letter of intent to make us a lead entity, like we did with the demolition grant that we're currently working in. So we went ahead and did that just to, of course, hit the deadline, and it was towards the end of September.
They gave us a very short time. They kept
Very
telling us
short.
They don't know when they're gonna do it, and it was out.
Get it done.
Yeah, get it done, and
Yes.
obviously didn't
Sounds about right.
didn't want to miss that opportunity, so.
And just submitting that didn't obligate us to anything.
For sure.
Just let them know that we
Was there any-
might be interested in it.
Any idea of what the funding, the amounts are, or did they give you any
So
insight?
program guidelines literally just came out last night, so I actually came into them this morning. They're about 25 pages. Our first training, or webinar, if you will, is Monday the 16th, that I believe Linda and of course Elaine will be involved in as well. There's a lot to it. The dollars are huge. At this point, I think our guaranteed set aside for brownfield would be $500,000. There is community interest. There has been some folks privately, obviously at the county level, that have shown interest in some projects that could qualify. Again, not knowing all the specific details of the program, we're not sure yet if the public sector can apply and what that all looks like. So we'll be spending some time, obviously, digesting this package.
But the application process would come through would it come through directly to the commissioners, or would it?
Yeah, so obviously through community development,
Yeah.
just like we had done with the demo grant, the process will start there. Obviously we present it in front of you folks, and then we'll get approval based on the qualifications of the projects itself at the
Okay.
state level.
Okay.
So I'm assuming a lot of it's going to be similar to the demolition program that we did, the $4.1 million, but I don't know that for sure.
From some of the individuals we've talked to, it appears there may be a likelihood that it's only going to be publicly owned properties, not privately owned properties, so maybe we'll have to look at that once they finally release all the rules.
Possibly some not-for-profits, but, that one's going to be kind of a tough one, in John County to kind of see what that would be, so.
I think they're leaning towards government-owned properties
Yep.
first and then expand.
Sure, so it'll allow us a marketing opportunity to get in front of our community and make sure the townships and all the, appropriate partners are notified so that, everybody has a fair chance at applying and or take a look at different projects that could happen. Hopefully the deadlines will be not as strict as they were with the demo, and we can reach a broader audience. So we have some ideas, Mr. Vork was in that meeting, that we can really kind of utilize the marketing efforts. I think we really need to focus on that. It's very important, so.
Good.
So that's it. In a nutshell, any questions at all? Hopefully I'll be reporting back with some good applicants if you choose to move forward, and we learn a little bit more about the program and go from there, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yes, and this
You
morning.
do?
Just.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Appreciate it.
Official Lemon?
Yes.
DeVore?
Yes.
Morning. How are you, Craig?
I'm thinking about the same thing. It's like, I got some other ones. Next year.
Hey, you right there. He's so quiet.
Oh my God. Good dog. Quiet.
Well, good try.
My dog would be up on this test.
So it's a little bit of a bittersweet, motion that we'll be asking to make. This is Coda Bear, and If you haven't met, this is Scott Christopher. Have you guys had the opportunity to meet Scott Christopher? He's an investigator that works kind of conjointly with the prosecutor's office and JFS, helping investigate crimes of abuse, neglect, kind of the more serious cases that we handle. And he also kind of helps, as part of that is also relates to our CAC, our Children's Advocacy Center, and conducts all the perpetrator, interviews and continuing investigations, and does an incredible job. A lot of people don't know that some of these things still happen in our community, and he helps, keep us safe. And CODA's actually been a pretty good part of that. Unfortunately, in CODA, the CAC, it was the first time, I think it was about 4.5, 5 years ago, that we decided to pursue having a child advocacy center here in Geauga, and we have one, and it's worked out really wonderfully. I mean, you know the numbers more than I do, but I think on the average it was about between 70 and 80 perpetrator interviews a year.
In the neighborhood, probably over 100 cases, average 100 cases a year. We'll go through there, not necessarily.
Ending up in convictions, but at least referrals and cases. So it's been great. CODA's been part of that, having a therapy dog that can sit in, helping kind of provide some nurturing to children and families, over the years, and he's been part of those interviews. Unfortunately, in probably the last handful of months, there's just been some behaviors that we made us concerned, that we don't know if we would want to have him in part of these interviews. And it's been a learning process for us. He's a wonderful family dog, but we feel like that he's not fit for duty for the responsibilities that he's had. And so with a recommendation from County Prosecutor's Office, we thought it would be best to retire him. At this point in time, CODA's been living with Scott. Scott is the primary handler. He's done a wonderful job.
And how many years have you had the dog?
5.
It's been very helpful.
He's been very helpful. So he worked really well with the children, and he's great with kids. He just has some behavioral issues. He doesn't get along well with other dogs. That it's just like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. But he did a fantastic job for the children in our community.
And one of the things I think we learned from it is, I think CODA is a little bit more of the alpha of the litter, and I think one of the things that we learned is maybe not go for the alpha right away. And so it is something that we're right now we're shorthanded in the CAC. Scott is really actually currently the only one that is on staff. We had one person resign, and others out on maternity leave, so Scott's got his hands full. It may be something that we revisit down the road and have another dog and have another handler. But at this time, I think the best for CODA, best for Scott. He's willing to retire him and have him in his home, and so
That's great.
That's why we're here.
So he's going to a good home, and he's been in a good home, obviously. How old is the dog?
He's 5.
5, okay. Yeah, so you've had him since a puppy.
Yeah, he was purchased with VOCA funds and we've made sure we checked with the grant and the feds to make sure that this whole process, we're going through the auditor's office, going through Christie to make sure we have the right paperwork. There's one other thing we got to get to Christie. I will get that to you right after the meeting. But anyway, we're here to retire. So it's, like I said, it's a bittersweet moment, but we know CODA's going to Scott, and an amazing home, and again, he's a wonderful family dog, and he served the community well.
That's awesome.
Is there thoughts about getting another dog?
That's kind of what I was just saying, is obviously Scott's got his hands full right now, and and if CODA's not getting along with other dogs, I don't know if I'm going to ask Scott to have yet another dog. But there is thought to it. I mean, I think the program will be successful as it is, but I think in an ideal world, if we could do it, we just need to have the right staff person to be willing to take on that responsibility, which is no small task. But CODA's been provided phenomenal training. I mean, he listens to everything that Scott says. It's pretty cool to see how well he's trained. So, yeah, it's something we're going to revisit. We just need to have the right setup at JFS to do that.
There's an opening at the sheriff's department, maybe you could go over there. Not you.
We'll have to check our, retire, rehire program.
I don't know.
That's right. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate your time and effort. And I know it's more than just 9 to 5. That's it's around the clock, and you probably become part of your family. And but we're just happy that you'll be able to continue with you. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate you coming in.
Okay.
Thanks, Barry.
It's effective tomorrow, so we're good.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Cheapest place.
I know. Yeah. Well, I looked at it when I saw it real quick the other day. And I was like, another one.
Good morning.
Morning.
This is for a new hire, Shane.
Sean?
I'm sorry, Sean.
It's okay, George.
Yeah, so, yes, this, you mean you're going to go.
Okay. Okay, very good. I'll make a motion.
Second.
Yes.
Yes.
Very good, thanks. Glenn?
Thank you, Glenn.
Morning.
Right. We have another service contract we'd like to have approved. We're asking the board to approve and execute contract with Java Coatings. They perform concrete leveling and coating services. Since it's so late in the year, we thought we'd go ahead and have that contract start now, but extend through the rest of next year so that we don't have to do this again in a couple months. So the total contract would be for $40,000. Again, that goes to the end of 2024.
Okay, very good. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
The next item is number 10, asking the board to appoint Nick Goris to the position of Director of the Department of Water Resources, to be effective on this coming Monday at the rate of $51.28. We had 4 resumes or applications come in. 2 did not really meet the qualifications. We interviewed Nick and one other gentleman, and the decision was Nick was the most qualified to be the person.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree, and excited. Nick, I know you've already been in the job now for a while, but we're excited to make it official here today with you, and we appreciate you and look forward to big things to come. You have a lot of work ahead of you here, so thank you. But I'll make that motion.
I second the motion, and Nick's the right person for the job.
Commissioner Webb?
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The next item is just a pay request, number 31, for Donley's for this building, in the amount of $99,397.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Commissioner Webb?
Aye.
Commissioner Webb?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier? We're going too fast, we guys.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Hi, good morning. How are you? All trades.
Have to keep up now.
Gotta keep up, hey. Well, good morning. Good to be here. So I'm coming before you today. The House Bill 33 of the 135th General Assembly, they established a Healthy Aging Grant, and the Ohio Department on Aging is making that grant available to each of the Ohio counties. So they are allocating funds to each county, but the Board of Commissioners needs to apply for this grant. And the purpose of this grant is to be used for older Ohioans so they can remain in their homes, be connected to their communities, preserve their personal assets, and promote healthy and independent active lifestyles. Geauga County, I believe, is allocated $201,575.86.
Precisely.
Precisely.
What was it, how much was it again?
$201,575.86.
Okay.
Okay, so how this grant would be used in our community is 20% goes to food assistance, 20% to housing assistance, 10% internet access, and the rest would go toward the state plan on aging's goals. You know, while my agency would have an interest in applying for these funds, should you submit for this grant, our community partners would be able to apply for the food and the housing. And, you know, when it comes to dealing with the seniors in our community, you know, we have strong, wonderful programs, but we can only we're only as strong as our community partners. So we rely on the entire community to make sure our seniors age in place. So what I'm asking today is that you consider applying for this grant. Notification of this grant came out October 2nd, and the deadline to apply is 11:59 tomorrow. So I will tell you what I have done in the meantime. I went on the state portal, and it takes about 10 minutes to apply for the grant. It is basic contact information that you would need to enter. I would be happy to walk you through how to use the state portal if you would consider applying for these funds. And then for anyone interested in applying for these, there would be a very simple RFP process. But while $201,000 and change sounds like a small amount, it can really help seniors who are struggling. So I would ask that you would apply for these funds for our seniors.
Great. Is there any type of objectives that we have to do, anything on our end that we have to do in return?
Yes. There would be reporting. There is so first of all, the grant period is retroactive from 10/1/2023, and it goes until 9/30/2024. That's when the funds have to be used. There would be quarterly reporting. But the reports were available to view online, and they're relatively simple.
Mm-hmm.
Relatively simple.
Would you be able to utilize that, say, for the food within your own department with your home delivery?
As you dig into it, they're really looking for an expansion of a program. So with our home delivered meals, we do not have a wait list, and we qualify people based upon need. So I would be thinking someone more who's dealing with food insecurity and funding. I would be looking at maybe a food pantry, someone maybe struggling with grocery purchases. I would be looking more with that avenue as opposed to us for food assistance.
Okay.
It's
A community
important
partner.
to understand that applying for the grant does not commit us to anything. We haven't even really been able to see the details and requirements yet because it's such short notice. But if we don't apply, we know we won't get the money. So by signing up, it's sort of like, agree to this and then we'll tell you what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we are on that.
A lot of them are like that.
I will say, right now, they've allocated these funds to us. We attempt to use it or we get none of it. Clearly, any unused funds would be returned to the state. So I would encourage that we use anything that we can to benefit our seniors in the community.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, I will make a motion.
Second.
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you, Jessica and Sunday. Appreciate it.
Yes, you will. I'll be working with her on that.
Oh, good. Good deal.
The resolution.
Okay.
Okay, if we could enter into executive session, purpose of considering purchase of property. Who will be in this? Okay. We have a motion.
What did you say?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Yes.
Yes.
So we are back from executive session at 10:48 with the discussion that we've had, and we're going to continue until next week with no action today. And then there is someone here from the Montefiore development. If you want to come up for discussion. Morning, how are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Morning.
Good morning. So this discussion is in regards to,
This is in regards to tax-exempt financing for the acquisition and improvement of the Wiles facility by Eliza Jennings. It's being sold from Montefiore.
okay. Okay, if you want to go ahead and, what's your name?
My name is Eugene Colleen.
Okay.
I'm an attorney at Tucker Ellis.
Okay. You have one question? Christine?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Kling was actually here last meeting, I know you weren't
Okay.
here, with the representative from, actually from Eliza Jennings. What they're asking for is, part of the conduit financing that they're requesting on behalf of the county is they're required to do a public hearing for the IRS, and then there would be a resolution and documents associated with this process of the conduit financing. So I know there was discussion last week with Mr. Lennon and Mr. Dvorak, Mr. Colleen, about the project itself. I don't know, I know you guys were looking at doing additional research on your end to move forward. I don't know if you have any additional comments or questions for Mr. Colleen.
I don't. I'm good.
So give me the Reader's Digest version of this. So I was out of town last week. So the scenario is you're looking for lower finance rates?
Yeah, so tax-exempt organizations like Eliza Jennings and lots of other tax-exempt organizations are entitled to borrow at tax-exempt rates, federally tax-exempt rates. And the process of borrowing at tax-exempt rates requires the involvement of a municipality or a government subdivision. So the role of the county is to act as the political subdivision that allows the 501c3 organization to take advantage of the tax exemption on its financing.
So how much are you looking at of the savings on this project?
The federal tax exemption, this is a single buyer of the tax exempt bonds. It's a bank that already owns some of the other debt of Eliza Jennings.
Okay.
And so I think the difference in the taxable rates and the tax exempt rates is about 1% right now.
1% of how much?
1% of the face amount of the bonds, which will be about $20 million.
So you'd be looking at what, $200,000? So what is the advantage of us doing this? Obviously, the advantage for you doing it is the savings. But what's the advantage for us to do this?
The advantage for the county is they're allowing the organization to come in and continue to operate the Wiles and continue to employ folks, continue to add additional.
So if we don't do this, are you closing?
Well, this is an acquisition, so the Montefiore is selling their.
Right, but I'm saying that, let's not go down that road. I'm asking you, so if we don't do this, are you closing?
I don't know. We haven't had that discussion with the client.
Right, because I don't want to hear this, like, what I don't want to do is I don't want to be like forced and threatened into a situation where we got to approve something where you're going to save their jobs and all this other stuff. That's a $20 million investment, and is it fully occupied?
I do not know. I believe it
And if
is.
somebody has an interest in buying it, it's because it's probably profitable and probably in use, and it's probably a good decision, or somebody wouldn't be buying it. But so now give me another reason why we would want to support this.
It's beneficial for the community to have high-quality providers of senior care services. And
I
so-
understand that, but we just said, it's not like it's leaving.
Agreed.
Okay.
The
So
county
the community will still be there, but give me another good reason why we would want to do this.
The tax-exempt organizations and other tax-exempt organizations in Geauga County take advantage of tax exempt financing through the county commissioners. And so this is just an ordinary request for
Just another
tax exempt
loophole to save some
financing.
money on this.
It is a benefit that the IRS gives to tax exempt organizations, yes.
I'm not going to support it, but plus these other two do, then that's fine. I don't see the value of it. I think that, you know, from the little bit of research that I did, I think that there's, you know, some legislation in place that's very beneficial for organizations like this. However, these organizations are very profitable. And we're in a situation where, you know, our county alone, you know, we're seeing a lot of changes tax-wise and everything else. And I just think that, you know, the owners have to make a decision. If it makes sense to buy it, then buy it. If it doesn't make sense to buy it, then don't buy it. But I think at this point in time, my personal feeling is I wouldn't support it, but I do appreciate, you know, the efforts of trying to get, you know, that savings. But I'm only one of three, so you got to convince the other two.
Okay, you know, the county has very limited involvement in this. It's really a transaction between a bank and a borrower, and they're, you know, taking advantage of an IRS benefit of being a 501c3, just like hospital systems and other 501c3s do. So this isn't anything unusual for them.
No, I understand.
So
I appreciate you.
there is an issuer fee that's associated with this as well that goes to the county for the process, to pay for the process. But I don't know if other folks have any other questions.
So this is currently, they're operating tax exempt already, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, but this being, you know, a resale, and it's already taken advantage of that financing once before, during the original construction of this, correct? This project?
The sellers, I believe, did have tax exempt financing on this, yes.
Yeah, originally when they built the whales, I think, right, under the initial construction.
Yeah, I was not involved in that, but
Yeah.
I believe that's the case.
Yeah, so it's you know, this project's benefited at least once from it, to kind of dip back into it. I understand it's a new potential purchaser or owner, but I kind of lean towards what Ralph is saying, and from that standpoint, and I understand it sounds like this is some kind of general practice that's written into Ohio Revised Code, but I've been here for a little under 8 years, and I have yet to, that's the first I've heard, or anyone that's applied for it here since I've been here. I'm going to lean towards no. I know it was told to me that this would have no impact on the county's credit rating, so I've heard conflicting stories on that, is that it potentially could come back for our borrowing purposes. Now, I don't know if that's been cleared up by our legal practice or not, but...
And talking to our legal counsel, our bond counsel, the statement was that if it did go, if the repayment failed, the county would not be obligated for any of the funds, but it would have the potential of going against the county's rating.
I think we will want to double check, because that may be more of a reputational issue where there's a public offering of it. This is a private transaction with our bank, so I think that's less applicable here.
Yeah. You know, I can see, you know, on opportunities, you know, where there's new construction going on, there's jobs being added, and I understand there's people that are currently there working, you know, that being an additional benefit where the county would see an upside of participating in that. But you know, when I've looked at, you know, purchasing company or selling my company, you know, I did not have this available to me, this type of
right, because you're not a 501c3,
yeah, right,
presumably.
But and a lot of 501c3s don't have this available to them. It's only certain ones that, from what I understand. So
I think that's incorrect too. All 501c3s are entitled to tax-exempt financing.
Oh, they are?
Yes.
Okay. Well, As I stand right now, I tend to lean towards not supporting this at this time, so that's my opinion. So, thank you. Jim, I don't know.
Well, the votes are here, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we appreciate you coming in, though. Thank you.
I will say, the county's bond council has gone through all of this, has approved the documents, has looked at everything, is happy to advise on whatever concerns you have, and was waiting to sort of be asked to do that. So if that is helpful, they are happy, the Squire Patton Box people are happy to talk to you about how this works, whether it's common, uncommon, what the risks are to the county. That may be something that may be worth doing. But, at this point, I think probably can't change gears enough to close the transaction. So I don't know where that leaves the sale of the lots.
Okay.
So,
All right, yeah, stay in touch with us if there's something else, we can do. I appreciate it.
it would be helpful, I think, if you would talk to Squire. They're happy to talk to you. They've gone through all the issues. They understand how this all works. It would be beneficial, I think, to do that. And we asked them to write a letter, and they said, we'd like to get a request from the commissioners for that. So if you're interested in that, they're happy to do it.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
All right?
Okay, any other questions? Nothing? All right, so next week we'll have,
I'm sorry, Commissioner. Though, I think, with this, the decision from the board, whether they want to have bond counsel come in and talk to address any issues with the board, or if you just want to close the
I think
process.
we just could close I'll make a motion to just close the process.
You probably need to go for the legal out is make a positive motion of saying, motion to move forward with the process and, schedule a public hearing date, and then the answer, sounds like would be no across the board. So I think officially, we should probably do that just to put it on record.
So
Motion, Commissioner's Office requests the board approve continuing the process with the conduit bonding and set a public meeting date for the date that they're looking at, 24th.
Due to the advertising requirements, it would be Tuesday, October 24th, and we could set it at like 9:45 a.m. because it would be held during the meeting.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
All right, second.
Commissioner Lyon?
Yes.
You're voting not moving forward.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying about setting the date.
You want to set the date, but you basically we're just
Okay.
putting it out there and then.
Okay, no, yeah.
Commissioner DeWark? So no hearing will be scheduled to be held at this time. I will let Ms. Romachek know where you are at on this process, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll have our meeting scheduled for next week at 9:30, Board of Revisions on the 23rd. Other than that, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.